So I'm gonna just fine tune the position of these teeth. I'm gonna try to festoon this side here. So the first thing you wanna do is you wanna try and expose the gingival margin of these teeth. So I'm gonna try to expose this side here. Again, our wax is still quite soft, so I can move this tooth around if I need to. So here, and then I'm always checking it on the plate again, right, to make sure that's right. How you can see the lateral needs to go up just a little bit here, and it probably needs to go back a little bit there as well. So that's good. All right, now we're going to expose some of that gingival margin. The lateral needs to be a little lower in terms of your free gingival margin than the central. I'm going to expose some of that as well. Okay, just to kind of get where we're at, get our bearings. Okay, so now we're going to try to carve the shape of that root. Now if you feel around in your own mouth, you'll find that the root kind of goes in from the tooth side. Like as you transition from tooth to gingiva, it keeps going in. There's a very little bump. I mean, if you have a big bump, then you have gingivitis, so you don't want that. So let's go ahead and carve that way. In order to do this, you're going to lay your carver along the long axis of that tooth and carve up all the wax that's above it. And we're going to create that root shape as we do this. Now, some people, like this one that we're doing here, would have a record base that's quite high. So we have a limited capacity to carve in, which is fine. We're going to compensate for that by removing more on the lateral side. Now the lateral really doesn't have a very big root convexity. It doesn't have a convexity at all, actually. It's more of a concavity on that side. So I'm going to create that. So right there. And then we've got the root for the canine, very similar to what we did with the central. You guys hear me okay? Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry. Okay, so I'll remove some of that here. I know it looks a little weird now, but we're going to make it look nice and clean. So again, the wax is still soft, so I feel like I've pushed anything out of place. We can move that around. So you can see once I've removed some of the wax, that lateral incisor looks like it's going in at an angle this way. So I'm just going to push it. To do that, I need to go in here and just pivot it just like that. And I can always squish the wax above because it's still soft. All right, now I need to clean that up. So we're going to use the hand-out torch. And again, I'm trying to prevent that wax from going on the teeth at all. So I'm going to flip it over again. And I'm going to lightly plane this. It's not working too good. So lightly flame. All right, so gonna give it some time to cool down. Used to be able to blow on things, but now with the mask, can't do anything. So just give it some time, and then we can carve it some more. So this process is going to take a long time until it's all nice and finished. But since we're doing a video, I guess we have to do everything. We can do one of those, you know, this is it when it comes out of the oven kind of thing. But I need to wait a little longer for it to fully set. So that'll take some time, but we're going to keep finessing that until it's done. So now a lot of times, like right now, I'm feeling like I've taken out too much in that central and I need to add. Now, we could just add, because this wax is still soft. The ball that we made so long ago is still relatively soft, so I can grab a little piece of wax and just put it right on top of here and squish it, and it'll just blend in to the existing wax. See that? I didn't have to melt it or anything, which is cool. So, and I created a little bit of an eminence there, which I needed. So we could do that. You can see we've created more of an eminence here. I'm going to carve it down just so it looks like a root. And I'm going to carve that out a little bit more. Alright, does that make sense, guys, so far? Alright, good. And here, carve that out a little bit more. Make it nice and smooth as much as you can. Expose some more of that lateral incisor. Alright, we're almost done here, so I'm only going to do the one side, and you know, we still can move the teeth if we think that something's off center. I mean, this central kind of went back, so we're going to readjust its position. You can readjust that canine's position, and reevaluate. That lateral still looks like it's going sideways, so I'm going to move it around a little bit more. So that's probably the biggest advantage of having that soft wax, is that for a very long time you can keep moving those teeth if you need to. So, alright, so I think at this point we can smooth it out again. So again, I'm going to flip it over and lightly flame. I want to try and preserve all the shaping we've done, so I'm not going to flame it too hard. Just enough to make it shiny. All right, there we go. And then we can carve down all these irregularities again. So you can see there's like little spots there in the reflections. We'll carve those down and smooth them out. So we're just going to keep doing that over and over until everything's nice and smooth. Little spot right there. And make that root eminence just a little narrower there. So you can see how we've kind of festooned that right now. And the lingual side, you can just melt that stuff until it's like glossy smooth. Just leave it. And for the palate here, you can also do this. We'll scrape out as much as we can off of those. We can use a bigger knife if you want to, and you can use the back side of it too, because it's curved. And once you've removed the bulk of the excess, you can use the hand-out torch and just smooth out all the remaining wax and like let it drop from the back here, and it'll create that nice glassy surface. Right? You won't like remove all the wax, but you'll just create that glaze on top of there. All right, so that's about it. We can keep cleaning that as much as we want. Keep going back and removing these little irregularities until it's done, but that'll take a long time, so let's end that here. Like right now, if I feel like that canine needs to go back a little bit, I can always push it back because the wax is so soft through and through, right? I can move that around, can put it back on the plate and check my position, and it's just a more versatile technique all in all right? So that's for the wax rim. We could do this one, but let's turn off